All right, hello everyone. It is freezing in my office. it's it was 6 degrees overnight, Fahrenheit. I don't know. I have no idea what that is in Celsius, so I apologize for the rest of the world that doesn't use weird American standards. Although Fahrenheit feels correct to me number wise, like unit wise. 100 sounds hot, not 35. Like 35 does not sound hot. I know that probably is in Celsius, but it's not. Doesn't sound as hot as 100, right? Anyway, random tangent. Today, I want to, let's see here. I want to try to tag Blueprint. I know there's some incomplete stuff, but I feel like it's good enough to tag to get it out there. I know there's some people who have reached out to me and said, they're pulling dev master and all that stuff, and that's fine. But that doesn't really get it out to the masses. So I'm comfortable tagging it, getting out there to the masses, and getting some feedback and dealing with the bugs that come in. Hey JT, freeze. Oh well, yeah. Sorry, it's not 6 degrees inside. It's 6 degrees outside. But my basement, where the cold air is getting pulled in, is it's probably like, I don't know, it's probably like 60 degrees in here, which, is cold for inside. Feel great in the summer, but it's freezing right now. Anyway, okay, cool. Let's get to it here. Let's quit talking about temperature and get to it. Let's go out to Blueprint, the web here. So yeah, we can see here, if we go look, like the last release was, almost a year ago now. So there hasn't officially been a release in a pretty long time. So this is kind of silly. Yeah, we'll look at release.new, a side project I used. I might do a little short video and put it out on Twitter and Blue Sky and stuff. Releasing this, but let's look at one other thing that I think has been, there's one other bug that's not documented, but when I was using this in some side projects the other day, in fact, the one JT and I were working on, I think I ran into this. So let's do this. Let's go back. Let's do Laravel new blueprint test. Let's just bring up a new Laravel application. We'll pull dev master. And we'll kind of see if this bug is there. And basically the bug that I think is here is I don't think this generates blueprint test. Yeah, there we go. So composer, oh my goodness, require --dev Laravel shift blueprint dev master. All right, pulled in dev master. Let's do a PHP artisan blueprint init. All right. And then let's just, I don't want to set this up. Well, you know what? Yeah, let's set it up in PHP Storm, as annoying as that might be, or as slow as that might be. It's annoying as well. I still feel like PHP Storm needs to have like a one-click, here's the path, do it kind of thing. So anyway, let's bring this up. Blue. Pop it in there. It's not too bad if you have everything copied, but still, I feel like it should just be plus, boom, path, done. I get that they have all like the extra, run your own web server crap, but like, I don't need it. All right, blueprint. Let's go to the draft file. Let's bring up, I'm sure there's an example of this. So I'm surprised this isn't working. It just may not be well tested. So let's do this. I don't need any models or controllers. I don't need any controllers. I just need some models. And let's do kind of like the classic post, and then it just has a title. This part doesn't really matter. So we're just going to say title string, and then I'm going to say relationships has many, and then comment, right? And we probably need a comment. So a comment just has content text. Again, I don't need to get super specific here on the actual, attributes of this model, or the columns in this model don't really matter. What matters here is this. Because what I noticed in my own use is that, and maybe I missed something, but this is how I would write this. I would assume other people would write the same thing. And this wasn't generating the pivot table. It wasn't generating the comment post, has many table, that the conventional table that you would expect or need to make this relationship work. It generates all the relationships, the methods, the has many, and all that stuff, but I didn't see a migration for that particular table. So again, maybe I messed something up or had the wrong bit, but let's see what happens here. PHP artisan blueprint build. Okay, so here we go. We have create comments, create post, but again, I do not see a 15, 21, 52 here for create comment post, I think is the convention, singular of those two names. Let's just make sure that it didn't get created. So if we go look at database migration, yeah, we got comment, cool. We got the ID, the text, the timestamps, cool. We got post, the ID, the string for the title, whatever. But again, we do not get that relationship method. Or sorry, we do not get the pivot table. We get the relationship methods. So we have comments, has many, all that looks good. If we go back to comment, we get the inverse, or no, we don't get the inverse back. We only get it for post. We didn't define it for the draft. Yeah, if we would have defined it here, it would have happened. So, yeah, okay. So out of curiosity, let's put this back here. Do they both have to have it for it to get generated? Again, I'm trying to remember because I know at some point in time this worked. So I just want to fix this real quick because this annoyed me and I want it in the release. So let's just erase that last stuff. Let's build it again. Yeah, see, it's not generating it regardless. So even if I put it on both, it does generate the has many method, but it doesn't generate both. So let's leave this up here for now, and let's get down into the migration generator, and let's see what's going on here. Why is this not generating? Yeah, see, pivot table names. What's going on here? Pivot table names. For tree models, table names, model table name equals populate stub. If not empty, model pivot tables. When does model pivot tables get defined? Pivot tables. Where do you get called? Pivot tables, buddy. It never gets assigned. Oh, sorry, this is just a read. Where do you get assigned? Pivot tables, segments. Here we go. Add pivot table. If string contains reference, @ return. Segments, name, class name, sort segments. Okay, that should get the alphabetical order. And then we throw it in pivot table. Class base name reference. Add pivot table. Where do you get called? Belongs to many. Oh wait, does it have? Am I just stupid? Does a has many not? Does a has many not do that? Does it not have a pivot table? Am I crazy? Does it have to be belongs to many? That's not right. Do I just suddenly not know anything about model relationships? Eloquent relationships. Let's go look. Maybe I'm crazy. Has many, one to many. A one-to-many relationship is often defined. Single model is the parent to one or more child models. For example, okay, a blog post have comments. Perfect. Exact example we're using. Great. Let's see what they make. Eloquent. So in this case, Eloquent will assume the foreign key column of the comment model is post ID. Oh. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Where does it? Maybe that's why it didn't generate one. Which one makes a pivot table? Which one makes a pivot table? I want to make sure that's generating. I could have sworn maybe it was a belongs to many? Customizing the pivot. Yeah, this is getting deep here. Where is it belongs to many? Let's just look up the belongs to many. Oh my goodness. Many to many relationships. Here we go. Many relationships. More complicated. Okay, sure, of course. All right, to define this relationship, 3 tables. There we go. Okay, let's just follow their example here. Look at this. It's basically blueprint stuff. Let's just follow their example real quick. Let's do erase. All right, and let's drop this in here. So we'll say user is that. We don't need the ID column. We just need name. It's a string. We'll make role. There you are. We don't need that. And we'll do another name. And then what we're saying is for the relationships, I guess we say belongs to many. Is that right? So we say belongs to many, role. I don't know if we have to do the inverse, but I'm not too worried about it right now. Let's do build. Yep, there it is. Create role user. Perfect. Okay, so a couple things. One, I'm an idiot. 2, this is working correctly. I can't remember in the other project if clearly I must not have used belongs to many. I must have made, again, a similar silly assumption that, I must have made a silly assumption that the has many had a pivot table and it didn't. It's a belongs to many. So I probably either just used the wrong relationship type in the other project or, again, had another dumb dev moment. So let's get out of here. Let's RMRF blueprint. Oh my goodness, where are you? Blueprint test, there you are. Let's go into blueprint itself. Okay, let's see what else is open then, since we don't have to worry too much about that. So we've got this fake thing. Let's open this up to the chat. Let's see what people think in the chat. They sent this in the other day, and basically use fake helper in factories. So this is kind of just a little bit of a modernization. So instead of saying this faker, we use the fake helper. It seems modern documentation, meaning like Laravel 10 and above, don't show this faker anymore in their factory examples. They just use the fake helper. Part of me remembers Tim McDonald talking about some limitations with fake the helper. There was something about like if you needed to swap out the underlying locale or something, it was, long story short, I think he said it was fixed, but when it first came out, some people didn't use it because of that. But I feel like it's more robust now, is what he told me. I don't know. What do the people watching think? Like, is this the new way to do it? Blueprint's all about conventions. So like if this is kind of what's demonstrated in the factory documentation for 10 and 11, we should do it. We got a one thumbs up here. That's worth something. Yeah, see, I don't know if they recommend it, but yeah, they do see the example in the docs. I don't know. Whoever's in the chat, let me know your thought. Merge or not merge. I just want to tidy this up if we're going to go ahead and tag a release. Enhancing blueprint. Nope. Provide JSON schema. Whoa. Nope. Let's see here. JT Tom. It is shorter. It is shorter. Yep. It is shorter. There's no doubt. I've never been one to choose something just because it was shorter, though. I mean, that along those same lines, like you would write all your code on one line because it's shorter. I know that's not what you're saying, but I'm just in my mind. Anyway, Allowing build command to try to auto skip. Don't care about that. Table name set via meta. Oh, okay. Table name set via meta is not honored by foreign keys. That seems nasty. I thought somebody fixed nested resources. Okay, Seeing as this is the only bug left, I feel like trying to tackle it. Let's see what they're talking about here. It already feels so dense. Oh God. Oh, they have a suggested solution maybe. Okay, let's read for a second. Thanks for project, no problem. This works and table is added to the model with the expected value. However, when attempting to create a second model, service is included example that references a model which has a custom table name defined. That custom table name is not used. Whoa. The culprit appears to be that generators migrate generator, updating this line to including the table, the constrained method fixes the issue. And both the models with custom tables appear to give it, okay, however, it then would operate identically to the if statement below. So I'm uncertain. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, proposed fix of basically prefixing it. Okay, fine. What is their example? The example is customer. The table's called singular customer. And then they reference it here. But it seems like Blueprint does not get this right. I should have kept that test project. I see why this doesn't work. I can see why this doesn't work though. This is fair. It doesn't honor that. I think what Blueprint does is it takes this and assumes that it's the model name. It doesn't necessarily assume that that's the appropriate table name. Nor should it really. I mean, it should know from the running of this. It should know from the running of this session that model had a custom table name. Here's the catch. Here's kind of the catch on this. The catch is, I run this now, right? So Blueprint's all about the draft file kind of being like a throwaway, kind of being like a scratch pad, right? It's just, you draft up your stuff, you run it, you build it, you move on. You draft up more stuff, you run it, you build it, you move on, right? You just rinse and repeat, keep going. That's kind of the way I envisioned it working. So for this particular build, we have information that customer has a custom table name. But on a future run, let's say you got customer service, let's say you had like, I don't know, managers or something, or departments, something else that had a foreign key reference of customer ID. On that run, you don't have the definition for customer here. So you don't know that it has. So how do we propagate? If I'm going to solve this, I can solve this right here, this draft file run. But it also gets me thinking, if I create one that has a custom meta table name, how do I honor that in future references? So the simple answer is, okay, if the customer model is available here, then I know to look up table meta. But if it's not available, then, and this is the lowercase, then like maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of logic there, right? Let's see what the Blueprint docs say about model references. I'm curious, relationships. It's more about relationships. What does this say? When defining relationships of foreign keys, the referenced tables must exist. While Blueprint makes an effort to generate migrations for pivot tables last, it is possible to encounter. Okay, fine. I'm trying to see what does Blueprint, what does the documentation say that this is, right? What does it say this prefix is? Does it say that it supports table names? Because if it does, then that's the solution. If it doesn't, if it says that this is a model, then I think this one's probably not as solvable, or at least as quickly solvable. All right, so let's see here. Sometimes you may wish to use an intermediate model for a belongs to many relationship if, okay, yeah. All right. Foreign keys. Where's foreign keys? Model key. Okay, model keys and indexes. Okay, foreign, blah, 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 blah. If you are not following labels because of an attribute, you may set the attribute on the foreign modifier. Blueprint supports either the foreign table name or the table and column name using dot notation. Okay. Here you go. Okay, here we go. So it does support, okay, so Blueprint supports either the foreign table name or the table name and column name using dot notation. Okay, so there we go. I don't even think we need to get that fancy about the meta property being used. I think this is just flat out a bug that I'm not following this table name for some reason. So let's go find out why. Let's go find out why. Let's go to Blueprint. And let's get into, where are we here? Let's close all this stuff down. We need a test. We need a failing test. Let's go get a failing test. Let's get into test, fixtures. I guess migrations is probably fair. Well, we'll need a draft file migration. I'm surprised there's not like a foreign. Do I not have this example already? Foreign colon, not just PHP files. Foreign colon countries code. Here you go. Here's an unconventional foreign key name. What does this generate? Here's a user's ID. Call to a member function, columns on null. Okay, strange. Where does this use? Unconventional foreign key. Where is this used and what does it generate? Let's find this. It's too much. Do less. There you go. Where are you used? You are used in the migration generator. Cool. What do you actually output? Okay, so migration. This generates a state table with unconventional. What does this generate? Is this just generating the wrong stuff? Foreign ID, countries ID constrained to countries. Are we just getting lucky here? Maybe we're just getting lucky. I mean, this looks like the correct output of code, but maybe we're just getting lucky here because well, here's what we do. We change that to country and we run the tests. If we change this to country, we run the test and it fails because it output country, then I don't think this is a real bug anymore. I think this got, somewhere along the lines, this got fixed. I don't know. Let's run the test. Vendor bin PHP unit. So we should see a failure, I would think. We get no failure. We get no failure. Why do we get no failure? Why would we get no failure? That's being used. Let's change something a bit more dramatic. So foreign country. Let's change, that's an ID key. Foreign countries code. Let's just change this to blah. I would definitely expect an error now. Okay. So it's not, okay. I think I know what's going on here. It's not failing. This is kind of proof that there's the bug, actually. I changed this here, but it's not failing because it's assuming it's assuming a pluralized table name. I bet that's what's going on here. So it's turning country into countries, and it's not coming across right. If I put this back to, if I put this to blah, some other completely unmakeable, not the singular version of the same name, I think we would get a failure. Yeah. Okay, so it's proof that it's not just taking that literally as the table name. It's doing a little bit of something. Somewhere along the lines, this doesn't work the way the documentation does. I think there's some undocumented behavior that if it's not plural, it's going to make it plural for you. So let's go see if that's true. So migration generator. Let's find constraint. Yeah. Should add foreign key constraints. Okay. Well, let's see here. They actually left a comment. They have a comment here on, did they tell us the line? No. They didn't tell us the line, but they have this constrained bit here. So somewhere in the migration generator, we're using constrained. We'll get there. Let's keep going. All right, so we build foreign key. We get the column name, we get the column data type, we get the column modifiers. If foreign modifiers just equal to foreign, then pass it null, otherwise pass the foreign modifier. This part is what's called the foreign modifier. So if we go down into build foreign key, what are we saying here? On. Which attribute was that? As a second. Okay, so that's the second argument. So if it's null, then we just plural the column name, split on the ID, all that stuff. It's a conventional name. If on has a dot, then we explode it based on this and this. And here we go. We snake the table name. See, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. This is tough because it's kind of like the documentation says how it's supposed to work or should work, but the code works differently. And that makes me really reluctant to change it because for me, code always wins, right? You can write a comment, you can write documentation, you can say all the stuff you want, but the code tells you what it does. And the code is telling us right here that it snakes it. And look, even here, right, if otherwise it pluralizes on. That's why country continued to work, because it took country, turned it into countries, and the output was still the same. Really, what I'm curious about is what should happen is if it contains a dot, it should just explode them. Table and column, period, done. It shouldn't do that. I'm just going to comment this out. Based on the documentation, what the documentation says it does is that if you are not following Laravel's conventions, you may set the attribute on the foreign modifier. Blueprint supports either the foreign table name, not a model name, not a class name, not something not, whatever that is literally the table name, or the table name and column name using dot notation. It doesn't say it supports a model reference or a class name or a Studley name or camel case. You pass the table name. That's what it says. So we shouldn't be doing this, and we really shouldn't be doing this either. we shouldn't be doing that either. Table is really just on at this point. Now, the exception is if somehow on contains slashes. I don't know when and why it should do that. Who did this? Neve. Fix migration for fully qualified references. 503. I'm curious what 503 meant to do. I don't mind if it has fully qualified references. But again, somewhere along the lines, the code and the docs got out of alignment. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to leave these commented out, and with this change. I don't mind leaving this because it's very specific. I'm going to comment these two out, and I want to see how many tests fail. I want to see how many tests fail, aside from this one. So, constrained users. So which ones fail? Foreign key shorthand. All right, fair enough. And then probably our blah stuff still fails, right? Create orders table. So I'd have to review these. It's not a crazy amount that fail. I'd have to review these. Here's what I want to do. I want to go see what 503. Okay. Let's merge this. I'm fine merging this. I had that on the back burner the whole time. I'm fine merging that. Okay. What I want to look at is 503, I think it was. If on is a class, we will try to fetch the table name from that class. Why would you want to do this? Whatever. This makes that yeah, sure, fine. What does it do? Attachments. Right, test case. Okay, fine. This was a while ago. So what does this actually do? Table. What else do we do with table? So this, let's keep kind of going down here. I'm not against going back to what Blueprint used to do, but I kind of just want to understand the implications here. So if this is ID column type and not empty attributes, then table is str plural of attributes and not empty attributes. I don't know what path this covers. On delete. Okay, so these are the modifiers. These are the constraint modifiers. That's fine with me. This says table. This actually builds it out. If column name is equal to the singular table name in the column. Oh, okay, yeah. So if it's uniform, then we can trust convention. If it's a conventional name, then we can trust. We don't have to do anything. Otherwise, if column is ID, we constrain it based on table. All right. These ifs are like really tight. Anyway. Yeah, give me some breathing room here. All right, fair enough. So the only time we don't ever put column in there is if column name and the singular names were there. But because table name is now not changed to countries or whatever, it shouldn't, it takes the literal thing. You wouldn't end up in here. So there's kind of no reason to do you know, to do what they were changing here. This is what he was changing if it was a singular name. The problem's not actually this line, as they kind of mentioned. It's actually higher up. It's the fact that we were, even if you passed an on, we weren't respecting it. We were still kind of munging it a bit. The final part I don't understand, though, is that the way this works, here they talk about looking up. Or, sorry. Here, this makes that inserting record. Okay, the changes. See, it says we'll try to fetch the table name from that class. See, to me, fetch means it goes and asks attachment what your table name is, and that's not actually what it does. It actually just takes the last part of it and pluralizes it. Which it should probably not even do that. It should probably pluralize it and then snake case it is really what it should do. But anyway. Yeah, I'm just I'm getting more and more reluctant to change this stuff now. Does Laravel, I'm curious. Where are their foreign key constraints? Yeah. Do they take, part of me thinks a newer version of Laravel might accept a class name in the on. I could have sworn I saw that. Column modifiers. Am I crazy? Where's on? No, they just have the one example. I'd have to get into an actual app and click through and see if it worked. Part of me feels like I saw like a little DX thing in one of the PRs from like Shifty Bits. Every week I do a newsletter and I send it, you know, you all probably see that, but let's just go check. Let's just go check. I'm kind of curious. Am I crazy? Let's go to Laravel Shift. Let's just get into some migration. Upgrade to cashiers probably got some stuff, maybe. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Table, foreign, and then on. What does this say it takes? How do you turn that off? I always forget. It says string. It says string, but is that true? Foreign key definition. Where are you? Fluent. So does it pass on to something else? No. I always forget how that fluent stuff works. Where's the actual on bit? Where does this go? Where does this go? This fluent, what does fluent wrap that in? I think it comes back on this, right? And then you can fluently call things on it. Is that how that works? Nope. Just kidding. Foreign key definition. It's got this stuff. Returns foreign key definition. Is this not the same? No, it's the same. It returns itself. Yeah. Where does that, oh gosh, where does that go? There's something about the fluent that lets you call things, but where is that defined? I don't know. Anybody in the chat know how to unpack that? There's a way. This method lives somewhere else, or it's like an array that allows you to call it and set it because of this fluent bit. But like, I can't remember. I don't remember how to unpack that where you can actually find the method. Is there like an on here? No. Is there anything in the whole freaking code base? Let's get down in here and search for on. Yeah, see, it's only defined in the, it's only defined here. Yeah, Fluent does something interesting based on like arrays and properties. And I don't remember how to unpack that. I'm going to go so far as to say that you can't pass it a table name. Or sorry, you can't pass it a class reference. Okay, I'll back off that a little bit. Let's go back here. Let's look at one of these failing tests and then call it done. Because yeah, this is a bit more of a rabbit hole, and I see why I see why I never patched this. You kind of have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. Do you make it work like the documentation, and you rip out, you know, I mean, technically that's not as old as I thought it was. But do I break something that someone added, you know, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and they're relying on that behavior, right? Potentially. You know, you have like this momentum now, right? You have this inertia where people are used to Blueprint being a certain way. I don't necessarily want to add this kind of like breaking change and then hide behind, oh, well, it was always written in the docs like that. It was never should have worked that way. I don't like when people say stuff like that. I don't like when it was like, oh, it was an undocumented thing. Like, I get it, but I think that's kind of like bad. I think that's like poor DX. I think that's kind of like turning your back on your users a little bit. So like, I get it. I get every now and then you have to do that, you know, kind of like for the greater good, but I don't like it. I don't like it. This is the way it's supposed to work, quote unquote, but it's not the way it actually works. The way it actually works is if you pass it on, we assume that it's actually a reference of some kind. We assume that it's a model reference. And that's not how it says it works. This right here is the kicker. That's the kicker. We pluralize whatever name you give us. And that kind of assumes that you're giving us this kind of assumes that you're giving us a country's name. See, I think if we went in here, let's just go in here. I want to prove that. Let's just go in here. I think if I dumped table here, let's dump on, right? What I would expect here is to see that blah or meh or whatever that we were doing here. If we go back, I would expect, you know, country to be there. It's getting pluralized and it's going on like nothing changed, even though that's not exactly what I said. So I think if we did a vendor bin PHP unit on just that test, where's our migrations generator test? There it is. Let's just do this. Yeah, there it is, country. Yeah. There's country right there. If I made it, and it's working because it's getting pluralized, if I made it blah, then we would see blah here somewhere, right? Yeah, there it is, same spot. I don't know. Let's make a choice. What do people think? You all are watching. What do people think? Make it work the way the docs say it should have worked, or just leave it alone. Leave it alone and comment back on the issue that like, well, here's kind of what you have to do despite what this says. I think there's while people are hopefully giving me their input in the chat, I think there's a middle ground. I think the middle ground is that this syntax, to me, the middle ground of this syntax would be this unqualified. This unqualified is a reference, meaning that could be a model name. But I think if you provide a qualified column name, meaning country.id, then verbatim, you're saying that's what it is. You're saying that's what it is. And that should work. I think more aligned to the docs. I think that's kind of like the best of both worlds, and then I would adjust the docs to say that foreign is a reference. If you need to, call an unconventional class name, use table dot, column name. I mean, it's just an extra line in the docs to clarify how it actually works. Because a lot of these examples are a little bit odd, right? If you're fully qualifying it, that's what it is. If you're passing a name here, then it kind of is assumed that maybe that's a reference of some kind, and it's either a fully qualified reference based on this PR. I'm not crapping on this PR, right? But I'm also supporting behavior that's quote unquote undocumented. I'm continuing to support behavior that's quote unquote undocumented. So you can do this and it works. I don't know. I'm letting that soak in. Actually, the way you described it makes the most sense. Nico devs, I like that. Okay. Yeah, it seems like the balance of both worlds is probably the way to go. So I think to prove this out, you would say something here like country code, and then this would reference, that's tough. This would reference country as an example, right? This one, let's say you pass it in country's ID. You pass it in lowercase country, that's fine. You pass it in uppercase model country, that's fine. Here you pass it in countries. What's the point of this? CCID. So here I would say let's just mess with this, country.id, and then here we would say countries.code. Even though this doesn't really follow the convention of the other stuff, I think this is the new test. This is the new test. Let's make this pass. So we have an example here where I just automatically lowercased it, but it is a model reference. It's not a table name anymore. If you don't pass the fully qualified column name, we're going to assume that it's a reference of some kind. Whether it's a fully qualified reference or a lowercase easy typing or whatever, doesn't matter. This is now a model name, and we snake case it, pluralize it for you, right? So this should actually still just keep working as we've seen. I think these two are the ones to demonstrate that you're still specifying the full name even though it's conventional. That's kind of what this one's doing. And then this one's demonstrating that even though you're passing an ID, you still have to qualify that first name, right? So it doesn't really matter which direction this is. But let's fix this on the other side now. So part of me, how should this look? Foreign ID, country's ID, country. So CCID on table. This should be on table country. This is constrained to table countries. This is on countries. And this still does countries, right? Part of me feels like that doesn't need it to be constrained. It can just figure it out based on that. Oh no, it would be country ID. That should be country ID. Okay, yeah, let's run this again. Okay, let's go put the code back to where it was. I think back to where it was is here. And this should be back to where we were. So we should only have one failure now, the test we just changed. Right? Okay, cool. To make this pass, the only time we should not do anything, the snake, is here. If it contains a dot, we explode the dot, that's what it is. So if I take that line out, we would want this to pass. But it looks like now we have a different failure. So we have a different failure. Or no, we don't. It still states. What is this? Unconventional key. Okay, so something's wrong. Create states table. Something's still wrong here. We're not generating what we expect. So, unfortunately, because of mockery, which someday I will fix, we have to get in the migration generator. And let's go back to where this is called. And let's dump out the stub here, I think, right? Yeah, let's dump out stub. This is going to be a bit noisy, so let's only do it for data set 19, I guess. Yeah. Data set 19. Pop you. I don't think you can do that. Nope. You have to say dash dash filter equals dash dash filter. Copy this. No, wait. You gotta give it this part and then say 19, I think. And then you gotta say number 19. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so what are we actually getting here? Countries. Okay, we're getting capital countries there. And then, yeah, that leads us to kind of another bug. Yeah, we pluralized it, but we didn't really snake it. I think we need to snake it also. Let's do it and see what else breaks, right? Where's our little foreign key friend? Should add foreign key, build foreign key. Here we go. We dropped that. Otherwise, we pluralize it, and then we str snake. Does snake automatically lowercase? I think it does. Yeah. If it's not lower, then you see words. Yeah, two lower. There you go. All right. So we pluralize it, and then we snake it. That should get this to pass, I think. Nope, just kidding. So we have countries, countries, country, and countries. What's wrong here? That looks right to me. What did we break? Countries, countries, country, countries. I'm not seeing it. Foreign, foreign, foreign. Well, whatever. Let's just copy it. Let's see what we broke. Give me this. Go to this one. Paste. What did we break? This. Countries. No, this is correct, right? Country. What are you? That looks the same to me. I don't understand. What did I break here? Country code, country code. When I copy and pasted this, it was exactly the same. Let's do this. Let's have Git help us out. Let's copy this again. Bring that in. Paste it. Save it. Yeah, see, there's no difference. What the hell's wrong here? What's broken with you? What's the YAML? I don't think it matters what the YAML is right now. This may not be the test fixture output that I'm expecting. Maybe I'm using this twice. Am I using this twice? Let's go look at 19. Am I using this more than once? Unconventional. Am I using you more than once? Migrations, unconventional. Nope. Why are you not the same? It's got to be like something stupid, like a line break or something. What's different here? According to Git, there's no difference between the two files that I've added. See, I edited this. There's no difference. Git diff -w -staged. The only difference should be, yeah, the only difference is CCID is country instead of countries, which matches that. If I run the test again, the output we get, oh, wait a second. This is the output. This is the output that it's actually doing. This is the actual expected output. Sorry. Let's copy this. If I copy this, and I put this in here without the 10 million line breaks from the terminal, now what's the difference? There we go. Okay, it assumed ID. Oh no, that's good. That's good. That's actually, yeah, that's actually appropriate. That's actually appropriate. Yeah. Okay. So previously this was just countries, so it assumed that the column in the other table was also CCID. But now, again, with the fully qualified bit, we are saying country ID is, it's conventional in the other country table, but it's not conventional here. It's called CCID here. So that's just, yeah, unconventional foreign key. That's good. That's good. That's like a nice little compound test. We were just changing more than I thought. So this should be ID. That's good. That's a good change. So if we run this now, it passes. Okay. So if we don't filter anything, run the whole migration test, do all things still pass? Now that because I've added another test in another branch now of snaking this. So I'm a little bit nervous that I've broken more crap. So let's see. I did not. Okay. Okay. I think I'm going to PR this. I'm going to PR this. I'm going to merge it. I'm going to close that bug. And I'm going to tag blueprint 2.11. That's what I'm going to do. Wow. That was a lot. That was a lot of stuff there. I did not expect to spend 40 minutes on that bug. That was annoying. Okay, so let's go look at this real quick to finish up. 29 commits, all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, we've got Livewire components coming. Yeah, we've got modernized view syntax. We've got a bunch of fixes for, geocolumn types, new inertia statements, using the gate facade. Yeah, other bug fixes. We've got more inertia stuff. Yeah, this is good. I think the key highlights are obviously lots of bug fixes here, as we've seen on the live streams, but also from JT and Nico devs, and as well as the live streams, some really strong support for generating Livewire components, but also inertia pages. So new syntax to kind of output a component or output a page. There's definitely more to do for Livewire, but again, I'm comfortable tagging this, getting it out there, and seeing what other people might think. What other statements actually need to be supported inside of something like Livewire. But all the basics are there. I think the most complex one that's not there is like validation. which I've talked about in that other stream, so I'm not going to harp on it. Woo, this was a doozy. Okay, thanks everybody for sticking with it. It seems, let's just run all the tests. It seems like everything is passing. Fingers crossed. Nope, we got an exception. Maybe something else references that unconventional thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's what happened. Some other things reference this now down the line. So I just got to make sure. Yeah, the database factory. I just got to make sure the database factory does the right thing. Probably just on that column name. That should create. That doesn't need arrow CCID anymore. It should just. This should just work. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tiny little fix there. I'll fix that. I'm going to PR this up. Should be good to go. Again, thanks everybody for sticking with me on that one. See y'all next week.